boy, do I love testing. Where'd the stream go? Oh, good lord. Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. Where did the stream go? Huh? Uh-oh. Well, it's live on my phone, but it's not on my other monitor. Good lord almighty. So this is what we call professionalism, everybody. Okay, great. It's actually working now. Okay, gotta love that. Audio testing, and goodbye. Hello. Welcome to the Truckcast. You might notice something a little different. Hopefully this isn't too loud. Can you even hear that? I'll turn it up a tad bit. There we go. This should be good audio, right? Yeah, this is pretty good. It might be a little too loud, but I don't really care. Welcome to the Truckcast. Now, if you're somebody who's been to the Truckcast before, you might be very confused right now, because it's not usually in Farming Simulator. Usually it's in Euro Truck or American Truck. The reason we're not doing it in Euro Truck today is because screw Euro Truck. I'm starting to get sick of them. So, for the most part, I've been postponing the Truckcast because I've been lazy. You know, I didn't feel like going around and updating all of the mods. But finally this week I was like, you know what? I'm gonna update all of the Euro Truck mods, and then I'll do the Truckcast. Well, sure enough, Euro Truck has an update. So essentially I had to update all the mods, reinstall the mods for a previous update a very long time ago, for Euro Truck. But right before I wanted to do it, Euro Truck has an update, which means now I have to wait for all of my mods to release the current version, and then I'll update the mods, and then I'll do the Euro Truck. Or sorry, the Truckcast. So that's not why I'm doing it in Euro Truck today. But I really wanted to do it because I had everything planned. So I figured, you know what? Farming Simulator has been my most recent addiction. Let's just do it in Farming Simulator. So, if you're someone who's watching the visual right now, not just watching, well, listening, I should say. What I'm currently doing is I'm currently collecting a whole bunch of bales of hay. And if you're wondering why I'm ramming into these big cubic blocks of hay, it's because I had a different idea on how I wanted to collect the hay, and then I realized that was a really stupid idea. So now I'm just doing it all with this machine. This was the machine actually that I used to make the cubes, but my plan was I was going to make the cubes, I was going to put the cubes on a trailer, and I was going to take the cubes somewhere else. But I can't help but think now, why don't I just leave it on this trailer? Like, the only downside I can think is this trailer is a bit slower. But otherwise, what's the point? Because if I do it the other way, I have to buy a whole new equipment. Because I have to buy, I have to buy the trailer, first of all. But I have to buy a bale fork and something to load all the bales, and it's just not worth it. So see, we have something like this, and this is what it looks like when it's full. And I have to take it to the barn. Where is the barn? Down there. Okay, I can make my way down there. But yeah, I'm getting a little sidetracked. So, what do we have to talk about this? Well, we haven't done the Truckcast in a very long time, so if you're someone new, here's what the Truckcast consists of. I consider it a gaming, okay, yeah, gaming, and here's one you're probably not expecting, political, yeah, political podcast. We also talk about some other stuff, like TV shows and whatnot, but for the most part, it's just going to be gaming and political stuff. Now, one of my categories, my first categories, I do like to go over what's been going on in my channel for the past week, but that doesn't usually last for very long. Out of the... Oh! Bizarro world physics. No. But yeah, I usually do like to talk about what's been going on in my channel, but that doesn't last for very long. So what has happened in the past week? Well, I have uploaded one singular video, and that was my April Fool's video. That was my Fortnite Let's Play. That video was fun at first. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't know how to carry it on. Like, I loved the starting portion of the video, but the thing is, I can't parody a crappy Fortnite YouTuber when I don't know how to play Fortnite. So, for the most part, the video just dragged on. Something I love, though, is that I wasn't actually in Battle Royale. I was in a 50 versus 50. Oops. Oh, God. Yeah, I was in a 50 versus 50. And I didn't realize that at first. But I think that just makes the video a tad bit better. And just so you know, I don't hate the developers of Fortnite. I don't hate the game either. Actually, I think the game is decent. Now, it's not a good game, I think, by any means. I think it's... Is this where I drop off? No, apparently that's the animal dealer. And this is the barn? Silly question. Where do I put my big thing of hay? I'm having issues right now. Okay. Just drive over their lawn. No big deal. And just ease your way in here. Brilliant. So yeah, as I was saying, I don't have an issue with the developers. Fortnite, I mean, it's an okay game. I think it gets very repetitive, and I don't like the building aspect of it, so I can't really play it. The big thing about Fortnite, and what I was trying to parody there, is the community. Because the community is where Fortnite falls flat on its face. Because Fortnite has a horrendous, absolutely horrendous community. And that's what I was trying to parody in that video. Otherwise, nothing's been uploaded. Today, you're not going to get a Tuesday video. I have one. I have a really good one. It's in the format... Oh, my. It just sunk into the floor. Wonderful. But I got $5,000 for it, so there's that. But yeah, as I was saying, no Tuesday video today. I have a really good one planned. It's in the format of a video essay. It's not a video essay, but it's in the format of a video. Well, it's similar to a video essay. But I have that one. Well, I had it scripted. I recorded all the scripts. I just need to go through and edit that. But I don't feel like editing that today and then uploading it today because I have yet to edit and upload tomorrow's video. And I really want to get tomorrow's video up because it's amazing. It's in Farming Simulator, because Farming Simulator has been my new addiction, genuinely. You know, a lot of people like to bash Farming Simulator, and it's mainly for stuff like this, like, ooh, gotta love these slidey tractors. No, if you can get past that, it's actually a really good Farming Simulator. Am I heading in the... Oh, whoops, I missed my turn. That's alright, there's another turn. Yeah, but if you actually play the game properly, It can be quite fun. Except I speed. When I first started playing 19, I always followed the speed limit and the road laws, and that got really boring, so I've gone back to speeding. I know I'm a disgrace, but a lot of times I'm on my own land, so it doesn't really matter. And turn. No, I said turn. Great. So what do we have to talk about today? I have a whole note. There's a lot of stuff today, especially a lot of politics. Bethesda. It's been quite a fair bit of news with Bethesda. There's been the Skyrim news. Well, sorry, not Skyrim. No, the Elder Scrolls 6. Yes. There's been Elder Scrolls 6 news, and there's been Fallout 76 news. Now, what could possibly be happening with Fallout 76? Well, I'm going to turn my headlights on, my high beams on, because I'm in my own land, so why not? Todd Howard went out and he said we had a few bumps in the development of Fallout 76. And then they went on how it was a hard development process. You know, here's my thing, and I know I might be making a huge mistake here. I will never be pre-ordering a Bethesda game again. Funny thing, Fallout 76 was the very first game I ever pre-ordered. Yeah. Fallout 76 was the very first game I ever pre-ordered. You know, I think that left a good impression on me. Because Fallout 4 was my favorite game of all time, and I've never pre-ordered a game in the past, so I figured, why not? I will pre-order Fallout 76. I'll get early access to the beta and everything. Never again. Please, just take this as a word of advice. Do not pre-order games. Unless it's got some really good merchandise, and your boy loves his merchandise. But unless it has some really good merchandise, just don't bother. There's no point. There's no point in pre-ordering a game unless it has really good exclusives. You know, I'll give them that. If it has good exclusives, fine. Pre-order it. But if it doesn't, well, screw you. I'm not pre-ordering a game. But despite that, I hate to say, and I might be making a huge mistake here, I kind of believe Todd here. Because I still do find Fallout 76 kind of fun. It's my least favorite Fallout, yeah. But I still kind of find it fun. Silly question. Can I scoop up hay after this? No, that's kind of what I figured. And especially after looking at the Skyrim footage, which we'll get to in a moment, I really do have faith in Bethesda. The issue is, a lot of the mistakes, so you have to remember here, Todd Howard does not run Bethesda. Todd Howard runs Bethesda Game Studios. Todd Howard runs the development wing. Todd Howard is not the publisher, and I can't help but sit here thinking it's the publisher that led to all of the horrible mistakes we have, especially all the marketing mistakes. And when I say marketing mistakes, I mean like the nylon bag, I mean all that sort of stuff. That, to me, was all the publisher. That was not the developer. You see, it's really easy to say publisher and developer when you're talking about some other companies. For example, let's go into Take-Two and Rockstar, for example. It's always very easy to praise Rockstar and bash Take-Two, because here's the thing, they have different names. And I know that might sound like a stupid reason, but genuinely, Bethesda Game Studios and Bethesda, the publisher, they're separate entities, kind of. They're all part of the same company, I'll give them that, but they're different branch. it's very hard to explain. So theoretically, well, let's put it this way: Take-Two bought Rockstar, I believe. Take-Two bought Rockstar. Rockstar was a completely separate thing, whereas Bethesda, the publisher, formed the developing wing. But even though they formed it, and even though there's no way for the developing wing to just, I don't know what the word I'm looking for here, I guess secede? I mean, it's not like they're a nation, but the developing wing cannot secede. No, it's not the correct term, but you get what I'm trying to say here. The developing wing cannot secede from Bethesda. They're still separate people. And I'm sure a lot of the people who are developing the games really have a big passion for the game and want to do good. They want to do this stuff, and it's Bethesda that's causing them to get a bad name. There's also some other theories that Todd Howard wanted more money allocated to it. There's a whole bunch of theories on why Fallout 76 was a bit of a flop. But, I mean, they're just theories, so I don't care. So back to Elder Scrolls 6. That looks very nice. So if you are unaware, they released a little thing because the Skyrim grandma, can't think of her name, I've never watched her, but I think it's amazing. So let me give you a bit of a background. There's this lovely older woman who went viral because someone found her and put her on Reddit. Oh crap, I still have my high beams on. I'm getting sidetracked, and I just hit a sign. No, there was this older woman who made Skyrim Let's Plays, and someone found her, put her on Reddit, and she got really viral. Now, I never personally watched her, but I think it's amazing that someone can have such passion for the game to do that, to do Let's Plays and stuff like that at such an older age. I mean, Skyrim is my favorite game, of course, but still, it's crazy to think someone can do that. You know, who knows, maybe that's what I'm going to be doing, but it's not like my YouTube is anything compared to hers. Oh god, I'm veering off of the road. But she was concerned because she was worried that she wouldn't be able to play The Elder Scrolls 6, because she was worried that she would quite literally pass away before it would get released. So Bethesda decided to immortalize her in the game by making a character that looks exactly like her in the game. And they've done this before. They've done similar stuff in Fallout. In Nuka World, there was a kid, he loved Fallout, and he just wanted to, well, I forgot what it was. He might have wanted to play Nuka World or something along those lines. But whatever it was, they ended up putting him in Nuka World as a traveling, no, he wasn't a traveling merchant, but he was an unmarked location. He had a little shack. And there was nothing wrong with him. He wasn't mean. He was just happy to help. And I thought that was real nice. So I'm thinking they're going to do a similar thing with the Skyrim grandma, as people like to call her. And that was really nice of Bethesda. I feel like that shouldn't make you think the games are going to be good. No, I think anyone would do that. Even scummy EA, you know. But that's besides the point. When they made a video talking about how they were doing this, we got a whole bunch of, like, a whole lot of footage of The Elder Scrolls 6. And it's safe to say it looks amazing. Now, obviously, we can't be sure of it quite yet. It's still, who knows how many years away. But even that, it looks amazing. It looks really good. I highly suggest, if you're someone interested in not even Elder Scrolls, but Fallout, because I feel like if you see it, if a Fallout fan sees that, at the Elder Scrolls So let's put it this way: the previous Elder Scrolls game was Skyrim, and Skyrim used the same version of the whatchamacallit engine that Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas used. So I want you to think about that and think, okay, Skyrim used what Fallout 3 and New Vegas was like, and then I want you to look at Elder Scrolls 6. And I want you to look at how much they've improved, and I want you to sit here thinking, well, if they've improved that much, because it genuinely, I mean, it's no Red Dead Redemption. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's still very beautiful, though. I mean, it's good, but it's nothing groundbreaking. I should say that. But if you compare that to, if you look at how it stepped up from Skyrim to the Elder Scrolls 6, it's genuinely crazy, and you can sit there thinking, okay, well, if they've done that with Skyrim to the Elder Scrolls 6, what if they do that to Fallout? Now, I still have hope for Fallout. I'm not some who think that Fallout is just dead at this point, that the series is over, because I don't think one messy release means the series is now over. That's not how game development works. Fallout gets them a lot of money, so even though Fallout 76 was a bit of a flop, they will still try. Now, whether that next game will be good, well, we'll just have to wait and see. But they are most certainly going to make another Fallout game. You do not have to worry about that. But I think that's enough when it comes to talking about Skyrim and Fallout. Oh, this is one I'm really interested to talk about. The Valve Index. Okay, this is a really big one. This is some big gaming news. Valve have announced their own virtual reality system, the Valve Index. Now, we don't have much information yet, but supposedly it's supposed to be the next best virtual reality system. Here's the thing. A lot of people are confusing this and thinking it's the predecessor to the HTC Vive and the HTC Vive Pro, when it's not. So here's the thing. Valve partnered with HTC to make the HTC Vive and then the HTC Vive Pro. The Valve Index is something completely different. The Valve Index is something they are making all on their own. So you can't, now they said in their marketing, it was like, I forgot the exact quote, but it was something like new and improved, or the best experience yet. And I think that's what confused a lot of people, because they thought, well, if they're saying it's the best experience, it's the follow-up to the HTC Vive. No, it's their own thing. They're just doing that for marketing reasons. So the HTC Vive Pro could very well remain the best virtual reality system. Now, a lot of people leave that up for debate, because there's the PS4 Pro, there's the Oculus, and that sort of stuff. I think those two are horrible. First of all, they both use controllers. Does the Oculus use controllers? I swear I remember seeing something with the Oculus. I might have to look this up, but I swear I remember seeing something with the Oculus where they had controllers similar to the HTC Vive, but the PS4 Pro sucks, because the tracking on the PS4 Pro is horrible, and you have to use a game controller, which really breaks immersion. So I don't think the PS4 Pro deserves to be a competitor. Like I said, I don't remember the Oculus if they actually have good controllers. You know, the Oculus might be a competitor, but I definitely have to look into that, so. But in my current opinion, before I go out and research the Oculus, the HTC Vive Pro, and if you don't know, the HTC Vive, let me try this again. The HTC Vive Pro was a newer version of the HTC Vive they released, and it's just a lot better. It also has wireless capabilities. Ooh. So if you buy a separate thing, you can make it wireless. It's just really nice, the entire system. It's a lot better than the regular HTC Vive. Now, I only have an HTC Vive. I don't have an HTC Vive Pro. And originally, I was going to save up for it and then eventually sell my HTC Vive. But with this Index coming out soon, I might wait until we get more news on the Index. Because the Index could very well be the next thing that's better than the HTC Vive. Although, let's think here for a moment. When was the last time Valve alone made a piece of hardware like this? Now, I want you to really think back. When was the last time, not a game, but when was the last time Valve alone made a piece of hardware? Are you thinking? Okay, some of you may have it, some of you may not. It was the Steam console. The Steam console is something buried deep in gaming history. Down there with the goddamn Ouya. Because the Steam console was a big flop. Also the Steam controller, which came out around the same time as the Steam console. The Steam controller is a lot more well known, but the Steam console was definitely the bigger flop. And it was genuinely as horrible, and there was all this marketing for it and stuff, and it wasn't very good because there were so few games that would actually work on the Steam console. The idea for the Steam console would be that now you can play PC games on a console. Okay? But the only games that went out there and said, okay, we want to be on the Steam console, are games that were already on consoles. Like City Skylines. Well, let me put it this way. They went out there, they put themselves on the Steam console right before they put themselves up on other consoles. So City Skylines is a great one. City Skylines put themselves on the Steam console. Okay, and people thought, finally, I can play City Skylines on consoles. And then a few months later, they released themselves for the Xbox One and PS4. So after the Steam console, I don't really trust Valve to make something anymore. Now, they definitely have the money, they definitely have the resources, but I don't know if that means it's going to be quality. Oops. I detached my trailer there. But I think that's about it for the Index. What else do we have? I have a whole note on my phone of what we have to talk about. No Elder Scrolls news or Starfield news at E3. Now that one's one that really took me for a surprise, because what are they gonna talk about then? Because Bethesda doesn't have very much. They got Doom, they have Dishonored. I feel like they might do something. I don't play Dishonored or Doom, so I haven't been keeping track. So I'm assuming they're probably gonna release something with one of those two games. I don't know. Like I said, I don't play them. I don't know if nothing has been released for either of those two games recently, so I suppose those two games could be it. They're definitely going to talk about Fallout 76, because we did have that roadmap with the Vault thing and a whole bunch of other stuff they planned on releasing. Didn't we just have Wild Wasteland? I have yet to try and play with Wild Wasteland, but Wild Wasteland was supposed to be one of the more minor updates for Fallout 76, so I feel like they're probably going to talk about Fallout 76. But I really thought they were going to talk about Elder Scrolls a lot, especially after we got that little sneak peek of Elder Scrolls and we got to look at that. And after that, I'd love it if they could sit there and just supply more context. Let's try this again. I wish they could supply more context on Elder Scrolls, what's it going to be like. Because that sneak peek, it genuinely just looked amazing. And they barely talked about that. They just talked about the Skyrim grandma. I don't pay attention to Starfield, but that's a pretty big thing a lot of people were anticipating. So I figured it was just important that I mention that. I have to take a quick drink because I have been talking straight for 32 minutes without a break. So stay hydrated, kids, except right now I'm drinking caffeinated soda because it's 11:06 in the morning, and I woke up about an hour and a half ago. So I'm getting my caffeine. Could make a coffee. I don't know. I just don't usually make coffee when I'm at home. I usually make coffee if I'm on the way to school. I take my coffee black, by the way, just if you're curious. Important conversations we're having here. Hydration. um, what else do we have? Five Nights at Freddy's is getting released for virtual reality. Yes, even more virtual reality news. I was a little surprised with this because I thought it already had been released for virtual reality. Um, it might have. This might be a virtual reality exclusive game. I'm not 100% sure. I probably should look into it a bit more, but I don't think it's as important to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. I think I want to use this to segue into what is the future of virtual reality. Now, a lot of people, and this always amazes me, is they will say horror is the future of virtual reality. I feel like horror will always be a key part of virtual reality, a key branch of virtual reality, but horror is never, ever, ever going to be the future of virtual reality, and I can almost guarantee you that. But there's several roads virtual reality can go down. It can go down as being used as a tool. It's as a tool when I mean, so Soundstage is a virtual reality program where you can, well, you're given all these instruments and stuff and sequencer and all this amazing stuff, and you can use it to make music. And I feel like that's a great idea. Sorry, I can't even speak. I feel like that's a great example of how virtual reality could be used as a tool. But there's just not enough stuff yet. But I can sit here and think of an ideal world where schools have virtual reality systems and they use it to help kids visualize historical events, help kids do experiments. You know, you could have virtual chemistry. You know, you could do it in the workplace. You could use it so people could visualize, let's say somebody's modeling the interior for a car or exterior, just a car, for example. You could use it to visualize what the car would look like. Furniture is another great example. And that's it being used as a tool. Now, if it gets used as a tool, I feel like another direction it will get pushed in is to be used, well, just commonly, as people will have virtual reality systems. And this could be used for a whole bunch of stuff. Now, I know recently, I can't think of what it was. One of the big sports... I think this shows you how much I know about or care about sports. One of the big sports, you know, not teams, not who knows, just sports, they stream their game in virtual reality. And I could imagine, you know, you could pay, people would go out there and buy virtual reality systems so they could sit in the stands and watch sport games and stuff like that. Oh, now I can't think. I'm just focused on sports. I don't care about sports. You know, here's what would make me love sports. Here, I got a brilliant idea here, okay? I want to see some people play, in games they are most certainly not supposed to be playing. You know, so, like, I want to see the Cubs play the Yankees in goddamn hockey. You know, I want to see these teams just mix like they're not supposed to. That would get me to watch sports. That would be great. But I'm getting really sidetracked here. Sports is a great example on how it could be used as a common thing for people, but similar to how you use it to model, let's say, furniture and cars and stuff, people could use it to shop for furniture and cars and stuff. Right now we have the, I can never think of what it stands for, but AR. Right now a lot of things will have AR, so you can put the furniture in your house, and that's great, but don't you think it would be even better if you could stand there and interact with the furniture, if you could stand there and see the furniture from all of its different angles? AR is great, but virtual reality could be better. But that's just one example of how it could be used in the mainstream. I feel like if it goes the tool route, it will definitely be mainstream. If it goes the Main Street route, if it goes the mainstream route, it might be used as a tool. I think tool is probably the most unlikely thing, but it would definitely be an interesting future to see. Now, or it could just stay in the realm of gaming. Now, no matter what, it's always going to be gaming, even if it gets used as tools, even if it gets used as mainstream stuff, it will still always have games on it, since that's its origins. But what kind of games will it have? Will it remain the small stuff, or will it start to branch out for the big things? Now, here's my thing. I don't think we're ready to branch out for the big things. Fallout 4 VR, Skyrim VR, those are all great, but they're just not perfect. They have so many flaws. Now, I'd love to see it eventually branch out to the big things. There's a lot of people that say, no, I never want to see it branch out into the big things. I want it to remain the small things. I want to see it branch out into the big things, just not yet. We're not ready. Right now, my favorite sort of VR stuff is the job simulator kind of things, the small experiences that are perfectly crafted. Those kind of things are what are shining in VR right now, and it's just not ready for the big experiences. That's it for gaming news. Finally, we're done with gaming news. No miscellaneous news today. No, I shouldn't say news. No miscellaneous things today. No TV shows or anything. I'm excited for when Doctor Who is going to come back. I got really bummed because when I was... What's the word I'm looking for? Well, just... Oh god, I can't think of what the word I'm looking for is. But when I was postponing the Truckcast, I never got to talk about Doctor Who. The entirety of Doctor Who was aired during the break period. And we're not getting it until 2020. So, no Doctor Who in the Truckcast for a while. Who knows, the Truckcast might not be around in 2020. Or it might. I feel like it's going to be changed by then. We might not just be doing Euro Truck, but I'll probably keep some sort of podcast around just because I like talking about politics. That's the main thing, is I just love talking about politics. I'm an insane human being. Hydration. But yeah, we're now going to be branching into politics. Okay. So, YouTube, obviously, recently, there's all that child pornography stuff. And a whole bunch of advertisers left the platform because there were all these channels doing horrible things with children. That went huge in the news. So YouTube took action. They started removing channels, demonetizing videos, and removing comments. And actually, I think this is... Sorry, that was my bad. You have a nice day. What are you delivering? Okay, you don't need to beep. I was just asking. No, he's just empty right now. But I digress. They started demonetizing videos and removing comments of channels that were accused of having child pornography. And actually, I think this is one of the better things YouTube has done, because YouTube tends to suck when it comes at fixing problems like this. And for the most part, this one has worked so far. And I'm really happy with what they're doing. But even though it's mostly worked as per usual. Oh, Lord. I'm dying. Professionalism, my good friends. But even though this has mostly worked, there's also obviously been a few things that have slipped through the cracks. One of which I just found quite humorous. A few gaming YouTubers had their comments and videos demonetized. And they were like, well, why was this happening? Why is this happening? And people started looking into it, and they noticed a trend. All these YouTubers, all these YouTubers were, Pokemon YouTubers. And everyone came to the conclusion that the reason all these Pokemon YouTubers got banned is because they were talking about CP. You know, the strength of the Pokemon. And CP could, and I don't know anyone who would ever use it, but could mean child porn. And that's why their systems automatically flagged all those. But they all had their stuff restored, so that was just a more funny story. Something that's a bit less funny is, what was it? Oh, special books for special kids. And this is a very important one. And what this channel did was it just was a big channel and it interviewed a lot of, and it showed a lot of kids with disabilities and stuff, you know, blind kids, kids with mental disabilities, all sorts of lovely stuff. And there was nothing malicious about this channel. This channel wasn't doing anything wrong. And it really was a wonderful channel. And sure enough, it had its comments disabled and its videos demonetized. And they've been talking about this for around, I want to say, a bit less than a week, and yet they still have yet to get their videos monetized again. And that's really unfortunate. So I realize I have a very, very, very small influence. I have 3 people watching the stream right now, and the videos on YouTube usually get around 10 views. But even though I have a very small influence, please go and talk about this and go support Special Books for Special Kids, because it's just a nice channel, and they deserve to have their stuff monetized again. So that's it with the YouTube stuff. What else do we have? Oh, Lord. I don't know if I want to talk about this one next, because it's a very touchy subject to follow a very nice subject. Facebook is starting to ban people who... Well, Facebook is just starting to ban white nationalism. Previously, their policy was they ban white supremacy, but not white nationalism. Now, this is a little strange. And a lot of people said, oh, you should start banning white nationalism, blah, da, 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 da. And for the most part, what I'm seeing is what they are banning is fine. My thing is, there's no clearly defined term of what white nationalism is. Is that ready to harvest? My wheat might be ready to harvest. Oh yeah, my wheat is actually ready to harvest now. And then, oh, it's got weeds. But it needs plowing afterwards, so... I'm confused. Why is only some of it fertilized? Well, I'll plant everything and then fertilize it. Again. But yeah, this one needs to be plowed, so I'm not worried about the weeds. Besides, I can't weed it now, or it'll damage the crops because it's too fully grown. Gotta love that, going from talking about white nationalism to Should I weed my crops? No, I'm getting very sidetracked. For the most part, what Facebook is doing is fine, but I really do think we need a clear definition on what white nationalism is, because to me, nationalism is to be proud of something, to be happy of something, and to want that something to succeed. That's my definition of nationalism. To me, when someone chants USA, 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 and they're happy for their country and they want their country to succeed, to me, that's nationalism. And to a lot of people, that's not nationalism. To a lot of people, that's just being proud to be their country. So I think we need a better definition. If I say I'm proud to be white, oops, I forgot to turn my high beams off. If I say I'm proud to be white, is that white nationalism? I think it is, but I also think there's nothing wrong with saying I'm proud to be white. Because I think it's nothing wrong with saying, with someone saying I'm proud to be black. I'm black and I'm proud, you know? But a lot of people just don't consider that nationalism. When to me, that's pretty much the definition of nationalism. So I feel like, for the most part, what Facebook is doing is great, because it's just stopping racist people. But at the same time, it does just need to have a clearer definition on what is nationalism. I will drop off this hay, and then I will look back to my notes to see what else we have to talk about. Ooh, I'm almost out of disgusting caffeinated beverage. You know, and I'm just gonna go replace this. But first, fix that. Quick intermission. Oh, okay. I am back. Like I said, quick intermission. What do we have to talk about now? Oh, Venezuela. Why do I have Venezuela on here? So, oh, that was right. So, I'm not here to cover the news. I am not a news personality. I am here to share my opinion on topics where people, well, have opinions. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not someone who's going to sit here and cover the news unless it's something, for example, the special books for special kids. that I want to talk about or something I find funny or something along those lines, then I will just cover the news. But for the most part, Venezuela, there's nothing to share your opinion on. It's just Venezuela bad, what's his face? The guy I can't think of the name of. Good. There's nothing, and it's not like a movement we're gonna start, there's really not much we can do just as people about Venezuela other than share information on what's going on, and that's already shared ridiculously. Just ram into a tree there, nothing special. But the reason I have Venezuela on here is I just want to, yes, this is a puberty Truckcast. It is guaranteed. There is a fourth segment, I forgot to mention at the start of the video, that there will be at least one voice crack, and I will go on a quick rant about voice cracks and how annoying they are, and that's one of the segments that happens in each Truckcast. It's actually not, but I'm getting very sidetracked. I say a lot, don't I? That's basically just my way of ending a sentence. I was learning about that the other day, and the reason we do that, the reason we say, and a lot of people say, and whatever. I don't know anyone who ends a sentence or ends a phrase by saying, if you end a phrase by doing that, you got a serious problem there, my friend. No. Oh, Lord, I can't even think of what I was about to say. But no, I was learning, and the reason you do that is because it's just a comfortable place for your lips and tongue to rest. And the reason different people have different ums and whatever. Because some people do some people do all sorts of and are the two most common ones. And the reason people do that is because it's the most comfortable spot for your mouth to rest. There, see, I'm doing it. But yeah, I'm getting sidetracked. As per usual. Well, that's kind of the point of this stream, is just to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. I don't want this to remain just, hey, I'm just going to talk about gaming news and stuff. Eventually, I want this to evolve into a conversation about all sorts of stuff. This podcast just doesn't have any sort of theme, in my opinion. In my opinion? How would that be an opinion? In my vision, this podcast wouldn't have a theme. But we haven't gotten that far yet. Hopefully one day we will, but we'll never know. Oh Lord, what was I talking about? Venezuela, yes. So, funny thing about Venezuela. Oh crap, do I have my high beam? Yes, I have my high beams on again. Good Lord, I have to remember to turn those off. Silly thing about Venezuela. When I'm in my Spanish class, all of our books are from Spanish, well, other than some science books. So, there's always the long-running joke that schools have outdated books. I am in a nicer neighborhood, and I have much nicer schools, so most of our books are fairly recent. They're as recent as they need to be, except for some of the science books. Some of the science books are from, like, 1997, which really isn't that bad compared to some schools, but for us, that's the oldest. Our history books are from, like, 2011, so they just don't really cover more recent stuff, but for the most part, they're real good. Like, the only time I think we've had an issue with the history books being outdated is when we were covering, this was a really long time ago, when we were talking about Israel and Palestine and that sort of stuff. Our history books didn't have all the more recent information on them. Our math books are the most current books. I think they're like 2015 or something. So the math books are actually very recent. Now the Spanish books, on the other hand, the Spanish books might even be older than the science books. They're just ancient. Like, the fashion is brilliant in the Spanish books. The fashion is genuinely some of the most. The fashion looks like it's in the 80s, but they were not made in the 80s. They were made way after the 80s. Like some of the hairstyles these women have. And I remember I was looking, so this woman had a bright pink jumpsuit on us, and you're thinking, good Lord Almighty. It was horrible. Oh boy. Welcome back to the fourth segment in the podcast. But yes, obviously these are very outdated Spanish books, but Spanish books don't need to be updated. It's not like new Spanish information is going to be released. It's just, if you're going to update the Spanish books, it's to update things like, obviously, the fashion and stuff. And everyone's, there's a lot of things, so this was a very long time ago. We don't really learn vocabulary anymore, but back when we did learn vocabulary, it'd always be, oops. Oh, there goes all my leasing stuff. But back when we did learn vocabulary, there would always be stuff like VCR, DVD player. And I'm part of the generation that, well, I'm right in the middle ground. I am too young, far too young, to own a Game Boy. But I'm too old to relate to Fortnite, Logan Paul. Well, actually, a lot of people play Fortnite, but none of us. Well, we did Musically, but none of us do TikTok. Well, Musically was way back a while ago when we did Musically, when that was popular. But none of us watch Logan Paul. None of us do TikTok. None of us do any of that. We're right in the middle ground age. Here, let me get. I got a brilliant way to discuss, or to organize my age group. We are the Phineas and Ferb age group. Phineas and Ferb was the shit. Phineas and Ferb is just amazing. You know, if you have never seen Phineas and Ferb, you are a disgrace to humanity. There, I said it. If you haven't seen Phineas and... how did I... You know, let me just think for a brief moment. Okay, as I listen to the crickets by my field somewhere in Germany. You know, Farming Simulator has really good ambient noise. I was talking about Venezuela. How did I get to Phineas and Ferb? Oh, let's go back to Venezuela. Okay. So, our Spanish books have a lot of references to Venezuela. They'll do this with a lot of countries. If we're learning phrases and vocabulary and stuff. And they'll do this with a lot of countries. But every time, there's always this amazing stuff. Like, what does Federico eat in Venezuela? Now, that would be an older thing, since we haven't touched on food in ages. What's the point? But let's say there was one, and it was, what does Federico eat in Venezuela? And everyone would make jokes. Nothing! Federico is starving. It's just horrible, because there are so many references to Venezuela in this book, and it's so outdated, because Venezuela is just a mess. It's a mess of a country right now. Great, you have fun with that? I'll get to bailing in a moment. I need to do some... Do you need plowing? You don't need plowing, do you? Let's go to the shop. Oh, you know what I need? No, not the... No. I need you. That field does not need plowing. That field needs to be seeded. It needs to be planted. So I'll get to that in a moment. Yeah, it's all these horrible references to Venezuela, and it always sets itself up for humor. Like, genuinely, they will have stuff. What does Federico eat in Venezuela? Nothing! Oh god, I need to hydrate myself. Hydration, hydration. Oh, that's an old Doctor Who reference. Hydrate me, hydrate me. What was the name of that woman? Katrina? Oh, I don't think her name was Katrina. It was something along those lines, though. But as I was saying, well, no, I think that's about it. That's all I really have to talk about with Venezuela. What's next? Avoid hitting the car, avoid hitting the car. Oh, Lord, that director. Jordan, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's Peele. And everyone's praising him because he said he will not be hiring white men for lead roles in his movies. And I have a mixed feeling about this because his reasoning for this is that too many movies have white men as lead roles and not enough of them have minorities or women as lead roles. And I agree with them, and I also agree that we need more movies with minorities and women as roles. However, his solution to the problem is to say, okay, well, I'm going to single-handedly fix this by only having minorities and women as lead roles, no white men as roles. This is not the way to fix this. Because what you'll end up doing here is it's just more racism. It's just more racism. And this is a very controversial opinion. Christ. More hydration. But let me finish this, what I'm saying first. So this is a very controversial opinion of mine. And I'm going to pause the game because I'm harvesting right now, and I don't want to be talking about this while I'm harvesting. This is a very controversial opinion. Because and a lot of people think, well, we'll just make a whole bunch of movies for the minorities, and it'll even it out. It'll even it out, is the idea. Even if it will even it out, you are not fixing the problem. You are not fixing the problem. Because there's so many variables that you have to look into, and are you evening those variables out? No. Let's say Jordan, whatever his last name is, I haven't paid much attention. Oh, he made Get Out, and I haven't watched Get Out. But he is a very talented director. A very talented director. And now you are locking out that talent to white men. You are locking out that talent to white men. Please explain to me how that is fixing racism and how that isn't the very definition of racism. To me, I feel like what directors need to do if you want to even this out is rather than taking a step forward and saying, oh, I'm only going to hire minorities from now on. No. The way you even it out is by making movies and thinking, okay, how am I going to make this a little inclusive? Don't push it, of course, but just keep that in the back of your mind and make sure, okay, am I making sure it's fair? Am I making sure my lead role makes sense? And then you'll even it out. You will not fix racism by being racist. Two negatives don't make a right. Okay? That might not make much sense to anybody, and a lot of people will call me insane and racist. I don't care. Watch this stream get dug up in 10 years. I'll end up getting allegations against me. Watch. I bet. No, it's not going to happen, hopefully. What am I drinking? Kroger Purified Drinking Water. It's good. Don't buy Dasani or Nestle. They're both horrible. Is it Nestle or Nestle? That's a great debate to have. I say it's Nestle. Just sounds better. But Nestle also sounds like a mother's nestling her babies. But who says Nestle? It's... Oh, I guess you'd say nestle. I don't know. What is this thing? Odd. I need a cedar. Like, I need a big cedar. Do I want a cedar or do I want a planter? I'm thinking I want a cedar. Yeah, cedar tends to be better for the crops I'm going for. You? How you doing there, Mr. Seed Hawk XL Toolbar, 84 feet? Yeah, I'm gonna lease you real quick. You're a big boy. I'm also going to lease a large tractor. This is gonna be my first large tractor. I'm gonna get this bad boy. And he's gonna have a really good engine. Oh god. I've never understood triple wheels, good lord. That looks like something you'd have in Robot Wars. I'm sorry if anyone's listening to this right now rather than watching the visuals. I should be considerate. This is technically a podcast after all. But no, we're just gonna get this bad boy standard. And one final thing I need, well actually I need two things. Go to front loaders. I need a pallet fork. And I'm going to buy the pallet fork. And I need seeds. I need the actual seeds. Big bags. That's what they're called, big bags. Oh, that's for feeding animals. Yeah, I need at least 2. I don't know if 2 will fill it up, but I know I need at least 2. Oh, look at this. Oh, that would fill up an entire lane, that thing. Wow. And then I got this big boy tractor. How am I even going to get the seeds in here? Where do the seeds go? Where do the seeds go? Oh, Helper J has a full grain tank. Oh. Well, that's interesting. Something has to attach onto the back, and then you use that to put the seeds in. Seeders. Is this what you attach? Seed Hawk XL toolbar. Oh. Or I could do that thing, which is a bit smaller. But that one goes for the Seed Hawk. I have to do it. I know it's more expensive, but I have to. And we're just going to do standard. Look at this. This is huge. I'm going to lease it. What is this? It's got a big spoon. Why does it need a big spoon? Okay, you, my good friend, we have to move you out of the way. Because we got some heavy machinery here that can't be messed with right now. This is what the Truckcast is all about. Farming. Well, I suppose that was kind of the point, was, you know, you actually play Euro Truck while doing the podcast. But I think I prefer actually, you know, talking rather than playing the game when doing this. We're also going to move these pallets out of the way. because right now they're kind of lodged in between everything. I apologize if this is a little loud. There's not much I can do because I don't feel like going and tweaking all the audio. We'll just plop you right there. You know, that's what I hate, okay? A little rant here on Farming Simulator. Right now, my employee is sitting there with a full grain tank, and I'm paying him. You know, where is he? Yeah, you. No, you're done being hired. I'm not paying you. You're done being hired. You know, Jacob, I think there's a word for that. You know, I'm... Good lord, I'm an idiot sometimes. Wait, do you put the seeds in the big spoon? And then the big spoon conveyors them up? Oh god, now I've got the seeds lodged. Okay, you know what, we're just gonna... just leave the seeds there for a brief moment. We're gonna move this tractor out of the way. There we go. This is gonna be fun, driving down the road. It's a good thing I bought a big tractor. Ah, it swivels. Papa loves a swivelly tractor. Look at this. Good lord. I apologize for your grass. Oh, but swivelly tractors add a whole new layer when it comes to backing things up. Thankfully, Euro Truck has taught me very well how to back things up. Pop on! Ugh. Okay, this is a lot harder than it looks. Especially in such a confined place. It would be a lot easier if we were doing this in a field. Yep. Perfect. Now let's pull this out a bit more. I apologize for anyone on the road. Oh, the big spoon is getting lifted up. Not my problem if you're someone on the road. I gotta look into this big spoon, because really am kind of curious. Unfold sewer, open cover, and it is the big spoon. Open next. Oh god, it's got separate tanks. Of course it has separate tanks. So let me guess, you put it in the big spoon, and then the big spoon takes the wheat, or the seeds up. That's gonna be my assumption. I'm starting to wonder if this contraption was a bit bigger than necessary. I'm also gonna have to buy a few more bags. Hey! I was correct. I'm sorry. Was that all of my bag? Okay, silly question. Oh my god, that was only 5%. Whoa. That was only 5%, one bag. Better. That was only 5% of one of the tanks. No, I'm not unfolding that. I am not unfolding that. Okay. We're just going to do 50% of one of them. No, let's screw it. We're just going to do it all while I talk about the Truckcast. The Truckcast while I talk about the news. Accidental Article 13. So, if you're unaware, I'm sure you all know what Article 13 is. But, so we need to buy 38 of these. I'm sorry. I have to stop talking about Article 13 for a moment while I count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I'll do 18. I'll fill up one tank and I'll leave the other tank in case I need it for something else. Better idea. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, there goes all my money. Look at all these. So I'm sure you all know what Article 13 is now. And it got passed. It got passed in the European Parliament. Now, I ain't in Europe. I'm a proud American. So I don't have to worry about that. I just have to worry about net neutrality. Which, arguably, net neutrality, I don't think is as bad as Article 13. And it's funny, because net neutrality was covered 10 times more than Article 13. But here's the difference. Why are you doing this? Here's the difference with Article 13 and net neutrality. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Net neutrality, I'd say a fair amount of people, even if I don't agree with net neutrality, actually wanted net neutrality. And I don't agree with net neutrality. No, don't go back to the Mr. What are you? Just seed tank? Why do you do this? Whereas Article 13, nobody wanted Article 13. And this really infuriates me because these representatives are supposed to, as in their name, represent the people. You know, silly concept there. You know, what if representatives represented the people? But they don't. And the reason I said accidental is because a whole bunch of the representatives went out and they said, oops, we didn't mean to vote for Article 13. We actually meant to vote against it. Okay. And the funny part is, the amount of people who said that would actually be enough to influence the vote so it didn't get passed. So I'm hoping for all my European buddies that they do a revote. I'm really hoping they do a revote. So you guys don't have to worry about Article 13 being passed. But if it does end up getting passed for good, well, if you're someone who wants to start a startup VPN company, I got a great idea, bud. And you know what? I'm actually, if Article 13 does end up going through, I will be convincing, well, I say convincing. I will be personally investing in Article 13. In our investing in Article 13. I will be investing in Article 13. No. I will be investing through my parents because technically I can't invest. I wonder if I can. I don't know the laws of that. I'd have to look into it. But I will use a very small amount of my own money. Very small amount of my own money to invest in a VPN. Yeah, this is gonna sound crazy, but it's genuinely something I'd love to do. Because I'd love to try doing it. I would invest in a VPN company. Because, boy, their business is just about to skyrocket, bud. I mean, probably won't make very much, but I will probably gain if I do. So if you're someone who wants to run a VPN, go to Europe. You'll get loads of business. And if you're someone who maybe wants to do some small-scale investing, invest in a VPN. What's the correct term? Invest in a VPN. I've been saying invest in a VPN company. I don't know if that's the best term to use. What else do we have? Oh, Lord. Cardi B. Cardi B went out in a, I think it was Instagram Live. I don't know. It was one of those silly live stream things that I don't use. And said that she drugged her boyfriends and then robbed from her boyfriends. Okay. And as you'd expect, everyone was a little outraged by this. Because you really shouldn't go out there and admit to a crime. But she did. So then, everyone started making all these things against her, saying, oh my god, Cardi B did this, blah, 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 blah. And Cardi B went out and she said, and I quote, y'all be glorifying, I'm that bitch they love to hate. Which was great. And that was through, I think, Snapchat. I'm not 100% sure. What was I saying? I got lost for a second. I was thinking about loading seeds. Farming simulator, my top priority. So, she does that. And she makes all these statements saying, oh, I'm the person they love to hate. And a lot of people were defending her as well. And then finally she goes and she makes a very long post. A very long post. Saying how, okay, yes, she admits she drugged her boyfriends, but it's okay because she didn't rob them, but she drugged them. And she said that that's what she has to do to keep a boyfriend. I'm sorry, but if you have to drug somebody in order to keep them in a relationship, then you might have some issues, my good friend. And people were defending her after this. People were defending her for saying, because she went out and she admitted to drugging someone and then robbing them. Well, no, she said she didn't rob them, but she admitted to drugging someone. And people saying, oh, this is past mistakes. This is not past mistakes. Past mistakes is, somebody making some mildly racist jokes in a tweet many, many years ago. Past mistakes is not drugging someone. And I'm sorry, if this was a man who came out to do this, especially a man with the following of Cardi B, you know all shit would break loose. You know that man would be in every single news, every single article, everything. But because it's Cardi B, it's not covered nearly as much. So there's my little rant there. Don't defend Cardi B, please. She doesn't deserve any of it. She's an idiot. An absolute idiot. I need a break after that. Mild intermission while I use the toilet. Okay. I am back. Gotta get my bearings straight after that. New York. Well, I think was it New York City? It was somewhere. I actually it was somewhere in New York City because it was where they had all the Jewish people. Are now banning unvaccinated kids from public places. Um, how do I feel about this? Well, I'm okay with it, but it's unfortunate because I don't like seeing kids get punished for their parents' mistakes, especially school's a big one. Some parents would rather leave their kid unvaccinated than send them to school. And now that's a kid that's going to get raised with no good education because you expect an anti-vaxxer is going to. Well, if you expect an anti-vaxxer is going to give their kid good education, well, you need to start thinking straight, bud, because you are wrong. um, but they're going to grow up without good education. I just wish vaccinations were mandatory. And even with pro-vaxxers, this is a controversial opinion, I'm not saying mandatory as the government's going to force everyone to get a vaccination. No. If there's something preventing someone from getting a vaccination, I am A-okay. What was that noise? Oh, I'm dropping seeds. If there's something like a disease or something preventing a kid from getting a vaccination, yeah, okay. But you have to provide proof of that. But otherwise, it would just be so easy. Other countries do this. It would just be so easy where on one of the first week of school, they set aside a day and all the kids that don't already have vaccinations get vaccinations. It's that easy. And if there's a reason for it, or if they're sick, that's a big thing people need to remember. If a kid's sick, it's not a good idea to get them a vaccination because you're obviously injecting, let's say, measles. You are injecting measles in order to build an immunity. But if you're sick, your immune system is down low, and you risk, although it's a very small risk, you still risk then getting measles from the vaccine, which is not good. Usually this happens more often with the flu shot, where someone will get the flu, and that's just because people aren't as careful with the flu shot. But if you follow everything correctly, you will not get the flu from the flu shot. It's just people go in when they're already sick, and they end up getting the flu. Or even worse, sometimes people will have said flu when they get the flu shot, and they will end up blaming it on the flu shot. Hey, I don't need to go and unlock that. I just need to hold it over the big spoon, and then it does it for me. Unlock it? I mean, unfold it. I'm dying. But yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction to ban unvaccinated kids. I just wish we went all the way and made vaccinations mandatory. There, I said it. Well, that's the wrong side of the palette. What do we have next? Oh, we're finally at the final thing. Oh, I can never pronounce that guy's name. A guy from Empire who, accused the people of beating him up in Chicago. And then it was this whole thing where then people said, are you sure he's not faking it? Are you sure he's not faking it? Are you sure he was actually beaten up? And finally, they started to put charges against him for faking it. He kept his standpoint, saying, no, I was actually beaten up. And, well, he was going to get charges placed against him. He was going to get sent to jail or prison or who knows what for faking it. And then, out of nowhere, the charges are dropped. And here's what's fishy, because if the charges were dropped because there was not enough, if there was not enough evidence, that would be fine. But there's all this corruption scandals, because there was a lot of interesting stuff if you look into the nitty-gritty. First of all, although Jussie has pertained his innocence, he's never admitted to faking anything. Although he's done that, which I think is good, his story has changed a little. Originally, he said for sure that the people who beat him up, 100% sure that the people who beat him up were white. And then the people who went out and said, yeah, no, he paid us, they were black. Now, these people could very well be... Oh, no, the people they found out who actually beat him up, they were black. So, he was clearly lying about that. Now, he says he got it wrong. I don't know how you could possibly confuse a black person for a white person, but whatever, you know what. This is Jussie we're talking about here. But what's worse is when you look into, okay, why were the charges dropped? Why? And the charges were dropped, and they said, we looked into Jussie's community service and how he paid $10,000 to the court. Now, oh, good lord, that was a bad voice crack that time. If he did community service, and if he paid $10,000 to the court, that's great, but that should not influence their decision. There is something seriously wrong if they said that influenced their decision. Because that should never, ever, ever influence their decision. But I'm tired, bud. I'm real tired. Why do I refer to you as Bud? You know, I should be one of those YouTubers who refer to their fan base as just a random name. How you doing there, Greg? You know, what's my name for the fanboys? No, not fanboys. Fan base. And I like that, Bud. No, you guys are now, from this point onwards, Bud. You're not. There's no way I'm gonna do that. But I'm gonna say I will. I have some extra pallets that I'm gonna sell, because I only have room for one more pallet in here. But actually, that's the end of the stream. I have nothing more to talk about. We streamed for an hour and 37 minutes, which is actually the longest Truckcast yet. Because the previous ones, well, there was one which was half an hour, and the other ones were only around an hour. So this is the longest Truckcast. I hope you enjoyed, especially if you're someone new who's interested in doing the Truckcast. I get it if it's not your thing. This is a very peculiar taste, you know, if you like something like this. If you ever want to join or interact with the Truckcast, I announce whenever I'm streaming on Twitter, and I stream Foos200_3 on Twitch. My Twitter is @Foos200. You can find both of those down in the description if you want. But otherwise, that is it for me. I hope you enjoyed, whether you're one of the 3 people who caught the stream live, or one of the 10 or so people. Well, I get 10 or so views on the VOD, but if you look in the viewer retention, only 1 or 2 of them are actually watching through the entire thing. But if you're one of those 1 or 2 people, I really do hope you enjoyed. But otherwise, my name is Foos200, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. Yes. No. I can't. I want to sell the bag! Whoa, that was a really bad voice crack. Bye.